What up, what up, what up? What's happening out there? You're tuned into the Enveonline podcast. You're rocking with your host, one half of the platform, Sonofajones. And to my left,
Your very frustrated co-partner, Azar Johnson.
man, what's going on, man?
Life is life, and man.
Life is life, and
Yeah.
man. We might title that the episode
Yeah.
because there's been so much going on in our personal lives. That's why we ain't been pretty much to and front doing a podcast, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like I told you a while ago, I was like, man, I might need to take a break because of everything that was going on in our personal life, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna get into that. We back for a reason. It's a lot to talk about. Y'all know we talk about politics, sports, hip hop, and a whole bunch of plethora of topics. So let's get started with the politics because the
That's where I wanna
election is
start.
right around the corner.
Yeah.
We a few weeks away from another huge presidential election. All elections is important, but this one is right in front of our face. So I'm gonna talk about a few political topics, and we're gonna go through it before we jump into the hip hop and the sports. So I'm gonna talk about Kamala Harris, the presidential elect, one topic. Then I'm gonna talk about Donald Trump for one topic. Appreciate our engineer for getting me correct on that. Shout out to Tyler. So, has presidential elect VP Kamala Harris, has she done enough to secure the vote for the demographic she's targeting?
If you're talking about black women, you're talking about whites, Asians, black women, women, period. Yeah, I think she's done enough. Talking about black men, no, she has not.
Mm.
No. And I think that's why it's sad to say that's why people are kind of trying to go towards the other way. But, you know, I want to be objective. So I'm just going to say that's why there's black men, they're still going towards the other way, which is a shocking stat. But if you look at the overall board across the board, that's not a shocking stat. If you're leaving black men out of the policy, if you're not even mentioning them, because we all know in reality that neither party's really going to do that for the greater good of black males. But you're not even mentioning them in your policies. You're not even mentioning them in your speeches. So all you're doing is saying, well, this party hates you, so you should just come over here. You got to do more than that. So I mean, that's just me speaking from observation. That's just not my personal opinion.
All right. So, have to be fair. Have to give you an update on the policy that VP Kamala Harris has given to black men.
Okay.
Because when we put
I would
this,
love to hear this. Go
because
ahead.
when we put this out there, there's going to be people correcting us, jumping on us, disagreeing, or whatever. So if I don't put this out there, it's going to make us look like we don't know what we're talking about. So in regards to Kamala Harris' policy towards black men, providing $1 million in loans that are fully forgivable for black entrepreneurs and others to start businesses, championing education, training, and mentorship programs that help black men get into good paying jobs that are in high demand industries, supporting regulatory framework for cryptocurrency. There's a lot of people out there that talk about cryptocurrency. I'm not one of them, but if cryptocurrency is your thing, presidential elect Kamala Harris is behind it. Launching a national health equality initiative focusing on black men that addresses, wait for it, sickle cell disease, diabetes, mental health, prostate cancer, and health challenges that disproportionately deals with black men. And last but not least, legalizing I'm stumbling over this word, recreational marijuana and creating opportunities for black Americans to succeed in that industry.
Right.
So those were 5 policies that she put out there targeting specifically black men. So I have to put that out there.
Okay.
Don't know if that changes your viewpoint, but I got to get the message out there. She has talked about black men. She is attempting to throw policies towards black Americans and black men.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Do you want me to respond to that, or you just
Yeah.
telling us? I guess when you hear that, it sounds good. I hope that she holds her. I hope that she holds her word on that. I think that's a step in the right direction. Let me put it to you that way. Um, I think those policies sound better than what the other party is promising, which is I don't know what they're promising. So I guess it can't be that sounds better, and that's an upgrade from hey, that other party doesn't like you. You need to come to this party. So now it seems like she's adding something more to the pie. And if we give you 4 years to do this, at least come through with some of it. That's a step in the right direction.
So me and you talked about this. We as older men who voted, we voted in various elections. We talked about Obama's presidency and where we as black voters fell short. We were looking at the top of the ticket and not the in-between elections that control the policies. So my thing to piggyback off your statement, I agree with you, but then we also got to get out there and vote for the House and the Senate in between
Completely
because
agree.
those elections actually push forth the policies to anything, not just to the for the black male, any policies you're thinking of, whether it's on the education front, whether it's on the healthcare front, we have to get out there outside of the presidential election and vote in those other elections.
Let me ask you something as a quick question. When Trump was in office, was the Democrats running the House and Senate?
It
was
was
both?
kind of equal.
So he can't pass a law without having them on both on the same page, right?
To a degree, like there's other branches of government. So in the judicial branch, which affects the Supreme Court, that's kind of tilting it in the opposite direction. Because if he gets in office, they already said he's going to, what is there, 2 more seats that could be up in the Supreme Court?
Yeah, there's 2 that are getting older. They're lifetime appointments, so unless they retire, then whoever's in office when somebody passes chooses the replacement, so it can impact for a long time.
So that right there can tip in the opposite direction. But if I'm did my research correctly, there's 249 seats up for election. I believe so.
The whole House is always up every
Yeah.
2 years, and then the Senate is like a third every 2 years.
There's a lot of seats up for re-election.
Okay.
So
Okay. I'm just a quick crazy question because I'm kind of, I think the silver lining is that when Trump came in, because let me say this, and I just want to make this point, and I'm not trying to just pull him out, but we're going to get to him later. When Obama came into office, everybody was happy. Obama. Oh, we got him in the office. But I don't think people understood politics. I think they just thought,
you were telling me that.
Get him in the office, and everything's going to change. Nothing changed.
You said that from day one. I give you credit.
Right, because he needs certain ways to pass laws. And then you understand about the judicial system, just what you talked about with the Supreme Court and how we found out about RGB. So when you start to think about these things, it was helping us understand the politics. So now fast forward, Trump comes in, he's doing whatever he's doing, and now we're understanding how he got to do what he was doing. There's 2 ways of looking at this on both sides, whether you're looking at it from Trump's point of view or whether you're looking at it from Harris's and the Democrats' point of view. You now understand when you get in there, now you're understanding it. So even with Trump, which we'll talk about next or later on, I think when he went in there and it was how reported allegedly, like they didn't think they were going to win. But they wanted to start something and go from there. They got in there, but they didn't have a plan. This time when he goes in there, he's going to have a plan.
The plan coming. It's called Project 2025.
So my whole thing is, on that flip side, he started something, he sparked something, and now they have the plan when they do get in there. Whereas with Harris, I think it's on that side, when you look at it from that angle, it's not just we get you in there and it stops that part. You need to do something else on your end other than just stop that part.
Yep.
You're basically just telling us, how can I put this? You're basically just telling us, well, if he gets in there, it's going to run ransack. So you should just vote for me because you don't want that chaos. You got to do more than that. because there's another 4 years coming behind you.
Yep.
So if you have, and I'm so mad that I don't have the article or the person. I think it was on Stephen A. Smith's podcast, and the gentleman was talking about it in the New York Times. He released the article, the writer, and he was saying if you listen to statistics, with Biden and Obama being in there, the statistics for black males didn't change. So what are you doing to motivate us to keep voting for you? What do we have to lose? Even if he runs ransack, it ain't going to change nothing from what it was when he was in there. Now, you may not agree with that. I'm just telling you, it's basically what he's saying is the point I'm trying to make. Even if we put you in there and it keeps the peace for these 4 years, it's not doing anything for our people or our culture. And you're just telling us just to keep tolerating or taking you being in here just so he don't get in there, just so their plan doesn't work, just so what you don't agree with doesn't affect you. It's got to be more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead. I'm sorry, though.
No, good point. I agree to an extent. I agree with you on that because I believe since I've been voting since I was able to vote, so I'm going on close to 20 years of voting. You longer than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to get to a place where they don't look at our demographic, our voter block as, hey, you just need to get us in there just to get us in there. I hope we're working towards that, and I believe we're going in steps in the right direction. Do I believe that if Donnie Boy gets in, that nothing changes for our culture? That part I slightly disagree with, which we'll get into next. But we'll see. I'm just happy that we're at a place that, even for myself, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning a lot about politics. It's making me read more and study and so forth. I'm just happy that we're talking about it as a community. I'm happy that this election and the previous election inspired me to learn more, to read, to go back over what I learned in high school and so forth. So the next part of this is talking about Donald Trump. The thing that came out in social media that we all saw, he did an interview, I want to say on Fox News, and they asked, the clip was kind of cut, so I don't want to take it out of context. But from the clip that they put out on social media, he said in regards to free choice and with school, they're going to do away with the Department of Education if he wins his presidency. His words, not mine. Now we're going to get into what that means. But just on the surface, when you heard that clip, when I shared it with you, what went through your head?
Then he's going to say he's going to get rid of Board of Education. That's called insanity. That's called putting us backwards to, like, in simpler terms, the Flintstone era. And I don't think it's going to hurt anybody but the people that clearly don't look like him. You know, I mean, that's insanity. Why would you? Because then what? How are you going to get funding? How are you going to do anything? I don't think,
when I was reading those comments, and I'm not going to put anybody's name out there, but there was a lot of celebrities and a lot of rappers that really didn't understand what that meant. I saw a whole bunch of comments from our community saying, well, I didn't learn nothing in history, so what do I care? What does that mean? I don't think you truly understand what the Board of Education actually does outside of what you learn in school. Go ahead.
So the Board of Education, well, break down what the Board of Education does.
There's a lot of facets, but I'll give you an example. So I'm a parent. One of my children, I have 3 children. One of my children in school receives services. They receive speech services. They receive occupational therapy. They are also on the spectrum, so they also have learning services within the classroom. All of those things are funded. They get funded by the federal government. If the Board of Education goes, kids with disabilities like my son and thousands of other parents lose out on funding in their state to receive those services. And our children, mine's included, especially since my child is on the spectrum, I have no problem saying that. A child like mine who's on the spectrum, who receives services, will no longer have access to those. Now, I will say, we do live in a liberal state like New York. So states like New York and California might be okay, because we generally do good with our funding within our states. But I think about all of our communities, not just in New York. I think about the Midwest, the South. So, pardon me. So, okay, let's say my family's okay. But what about that child in Ohio where their state don't get that kind of funding, or Kentucky, or North Carolina, or Virginia? You see where I'm going with this? That's just one facet. Second facet, pardon me. Let's say your child one day grows up and wants to go to college. They want to inspire to go to college. You got a college degree and I got a college degree. When we filled out those financial aid loans, how many of us needed Pell Grants to attend school?
Right.
No, I'm asking, how many of us needed Pell Grants?
A lot of us.
Pretty much the majority of us needed Pell Grants because our parents weren't making over $150,000 to fund that.
Right.
Guess who's in charge of Pell Grants?
Board of Education.
Title I funding, which pretty much the Board of Education. That gets cut. Poor folks don't go to college because ain't no way you're funding it out of pocket. I can pull up Chat GPT and go to HBCUs and see the percentage of students at HBCUs that need Pell Grants to attend college. Guess what it's going to say? 67 to 70% of all HBCU students need Pell Grants. The Board of Education goes, who does that affect?
Right.
That was a simple math equation. I'll say it again. Maybe it flew over some people's heads. If I pull up Chat GPT and ask what are the number of students that attend HBCUs that need Pell Grants, it's going to give me a number around 60 to 70%. If that funding gets cut mathematically, who does that hurt?
No, everybody.
And again, I'm still on the surface level. There are other facets. There are teachers. There are so many facets that the Department of Education controls outside of the history books. If that goes, we are going backwards 75 years. I got some more, but go ahead.
So let me say this. I just think that if we were just talking about the Board of Education, it just seems like to me its policies are going to be set for us to go set back. We're going to fail. It's going to get worse. It's going to get real bad. And when I say bad, I don't think you understand how bad it's going to get. It's just going to create chaos. Why would you want that? Did you not
I have
see?
an idea.
Did you not see what happened January 6th? Are you understanding what I'm saying? It's not the equivalent. Everybody will start jumping over and attacking schools, but it's the fact of less education, unemployment going up, and every time anything gets worse, it affects our people and culture more than anybody. So if you're a person of color, I just don't think. I mean, it's horrific. And let me say something else that's really irritating me. I understand if you want to vote for him and that's your policy, and trust me, I get it. When this election first started, he was making a lot of sense. But
To you, that nigga wasn't making sense to me.
There was a lot of things he was saying that he was overriding Biden. Let's just call it what it is, right? But the point I'm making is that it's not gonna go well. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just stop trying to look at he's making one good point and I'm gonna ride with that point because he rocks with that belief. What about all the other things? Do you understand all the other effects it will have if he's in office? Did we not see what happened? And now he's talking about Board of Education. You talking about giving free immunity to cops. That's the purge on people of color, period. Are you out your mind? Do you understand how that's working? And it hurts me and saddens me to see people that look like us on camera saying, oh, I think he's a great guy. And you know what's crazy? I'm not going to spill. I'm sorry. You know what's crazy? I saw it, and the location it was at was in the same city as where he took out a newspaper ad on talking about executing the Central Park 5.
In New York City.
How dare you? How dare you? I don't understand. Please help me understand. You think he's a great guy? Okay.
Talking about Lord Jamar?
I know.
I say names.
I didn't even hear his thing. I saw because he keeps saying it too. But let me make this clear. That's another point. Can I respond to that?
Go ahead.
There's athletes, rappers, whatever you want to call yourselves. Oh, Trump's gonna do this. He's gonna do this. Let me tell you something. When that all collapses, you're gonna be ducking and running. I don't care who says what. You will duck and you will run, and you won't be nowhere to be found talking and all this. Yo, let it do, and we'll do it independently by ourselves. Really? Because I ain't saying no names, but I mean, there's a dude out there that been saying he's gonna have a school, and we still ain't seen that come up yet.
Oh, the school.
You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm going with
Yeah,
that.
the school that's been appearing for 10 years.
So my point is like, I don't think you understand. This is gonna go left. It is gonna be something that you can always bounce back from something, but it's the point you've made. We have relatives that are still alive from that era. They don't want to go back to that. They rather just say, yo, even though we don't agree with everything they're doing on that side, we can survive and build from that. You can't build from that. You starting from scratch and building back all over again. Mm-hmm. I can't. No, man, I can't. No.
So I'm going to touch on that point last that you said. Mm-hmm. But I was talking off camera to our engineer, Tyler, and he made a good point. So I agree with the point our engineer, Tyler, said, which was, when we were talking about the Board of Education and comments, it does need to be reformed. And that's one thing I give credit to our engineer, Tyler, about when he said he believes it needs to be reformed. If I could say that, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
You got it.
So I agree with him on that. I do agree with the reform part of it. It does need to be reformed. I would like to see more funding placed in correct areas. I would like to see teachers win the battle with their salaries, because we all know they're underpaid. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch. I pay taxes for my house, so you do too. So we understand property tax and school tax. Mm-hmm. But to go that far left or right, or however the terminology is, to go that far right to disband it, like we're not talking about effects that, okay, well, we can probably reverse this in 10 or 20 years. Mm-hmm. Now we get to the point where you just made about our families. So we're older black men who still has family that live in the deep South. Mm-hmm. Not in the cute part like Atlanta, the city part.
Yeah.
Because I think some people who don't live in the South, when they hear the South, they might go to Atlanta or to the cutesy part of Houston, Texas. Mm-hmm. No, I still have family. Like when you drive, you see nothing but nothing.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect, because I don't want people to think I'm talking down on the South. I'm just saying where our family comes from. I'm proud of it. I'm proud to say I'm one generation removed from Mississippi. But going back to what you just said, the point you were making that I made off the phone, I don't have to look at a YouTube channel to envision what that might look like.
Yeah.
I don't have to pick up a history book and guess what that era looks like. Me and you still have relatives alive in their 70s and 80s from the South that we can pick up the phone and call and say, hey, can you refresh our memory how it was growing up in the 40s and 50s in Mississippi? See, I still remember having conversations with my great uncle who passed away, who told me, they dropped out of school at 8th and 9th grade because at that time it didn't make sense for them to finish school because there was no opportunities and they had to help their family sharecrop. Mm-hmm. See, I still remember those conversations, and I still can have those conversations because those people are alive. When I see those celebrities online, I don't think y'all talking to your elder family members. You can't be. There's no way you talking to your great uncle who's 70 years old, who's from Virginia, who's from South Carolina, and you're not getting the gist of the lack of opportunity they had from the unemployment rate, as you said, because you brought up unemployment, and the lack of opportunity they had from no access to education or being discriminated from the schools they weren't allowed in, not just in high school, but in college. Because I believe it was a podcast we did a while ago where during Black History, where I brought there was a person that got denied from Texas University just because they were black, but they had the grades to get in. I don't think y'all talk to your elders about that time period.
Yeah.
Because I keep hearing it's not going to be that bad. Well, I could talk to those family members.
Yeah.
They can give me a nice little refresher memory. So, I just wanted to piggyback
No,
off that.
I 1000% agree. I'm just basically saying the same thing. I'm not. I don't want to go back to that. It sounds cool. You say it sounds cool.
Yeah, it
Let's
sounds
be more
cool.
independent, and I get it. There were benefits of it. I'm not disputing that, but we're not. We can't go back to that. We can't. We are not equipped to go back to that.
Let me
We're
say
not.
this. We're not equipped. Like a lot of those celebrity influencers, they make a certain income. So when you hear rappers such and such who says, "Oh, I'll be fine," yeah, them and their immediate family, because they probably make $500,000 a year
Yeah.
from their industry.
Yeah.
You regular person from my community that's barely clearing 50, 60, 70,000.
Yep. Yeah.
You and your kids.
Yep. Yep.
Lack of access to education.
Yeah.
You can talk about you on homeschool all day long. That sounds nice at first.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What about, 1 second.
go ahead, Ty.
That's good on that point.
Go ahead.
I didn't think of this until just
No,
now.
go ahead.
But they want to replace everything, essentially, to boil their plans down to like private school or charter
Mhm.
schools. or whatever.
Yeah.
So what if they said we take the funding for the Department of Education and we grant it to the states to subsidize, essentially? So it's a money grab, but if you're talking about equalizing education,
Right.
what do you think the impacts of that might be? If
You
that
go
was the
first.
If they take the money and give it to the state, and the state says, "Yo, we're gonna disperse it out all through the school, make the schools all equal."
So now it's not public, it's private, but it's still government subsidized.
I got an answer for that.
I think yes, in a fair world, that's a great idea.
Thank you. I'm
But
gonna go in on that.
I think we both know there's gonna be certain states that ain't gonna hold their word on it, and it's gonna become, i.e., go look up Brett Favre. It'll be some trifling like that. That's one governor. It's going a few of them governors are gonna play themselves and
Tyler
try.
just threw you the alley oop.
Facts, super facts.
So that's exactly where I was going with my response. In a perfect world, that's a great question. First of all, I want to say that's our engineer who makes all this possible. That was a great question from our engineer, Tyler. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm diminishing his question. So I want to give respect to him. In a perfect world, that will work. Giving the funding to the states and letting the states decide. That will work in a perfect world. But we seen when you live outside of certain states, like I said, we live in New York. Okay, we might be okay in New York. California might be okay. There's a few other states. But when you have state governors in Florida, we see who's over Florida.
Yeah.
Homeboy down
DeSantis,
there,
yeah.
DeSantis. People in Mississippi, where my family's at, Alabama, so forth. I have to look at the whole pie, and I know those state governments, those state governors, those local officials will not be fair in those states. And as you said, like the Brett Favre situation, he's now doing a world tour, and I don't want to talk bad about people who have health problems, but saying he's coming down with dementia or whatever
Nobody
he's
cares.
dealing with.
No, I'm
But
not speaking for you. Nobody cares.
But when you were
Nobody
working
cares.
with the mayor to defraud the state of Mississippi for
Yep.
$75 million,
Yeah.
when Jackson, Mississippi and other counties didn't have clean drinking water, you didn't care. And that's the danger with sending the funding to states.
Yeah.
On paper, in a fair world, to answer our engineer's question, it would be great if all the states were fair and we had competent governments within those states that will look out for people who weren't rich. We all know the answer, what that's going to be. It'll be a lot of misappropriation of funds,
Yep.
and you'll be worrying why your school in certain counties in North Carolina don't have access to education,
Facts.
or Oklahoma, or Wyoming, or Kentucky, or West Virginia. I could keep naming the Appalachian states because I really do study history. It ain't just our people. Like there's some poor people in the Appalachian Mountains, that whole Appalachian area. Go ask them how they're doing with job opportunities and access to education. And they don't look like us, but they're going through our struggle in that area because of their state government. So if they're going through it in the Appalachian area, then I could just imagine what would happen if we turn over the funding to education to them. And that's my answer on that. Does that satisfy, Ty?
I just thought it was interesting to talk about it.
Yeah.
Nah, it is. It definitely is, because that's the other viewpoint. Because I saw some of those comments too saying, well, you don't understand, state, it will go to the state, it will go to the state, it will go to the state. Well, they're sending Roe v. Wade to the states to choose over the right for a woman's body. And you see that's affecting women. They already have one case. I know there's more, but they already had one case of a woman dying because she didn't, I want to say she was in Atlanta, Georgia. Not Atlanta, Georgia, but somewhere in Georgia, where she couldn't get access to have an abortion and she bled out because blood clots or whatever. But that's what happens when you overturn Roe v. Wade and leave it to the state. Go ahead. Look like you was going to say something.
I just don't understand. Like, are you such a bigot and a / racist that you willing to just sacrifice all your rights? That's just what I'm going to leave it right there, because it's just pure ignorance. And let me tell you, can I say something? So there was one that said, I'm voting. And I'm not against, I just think with his track record, because like I said, a lot of things he say, he's not wrong. That's what people get irritated about. Biden was back there talking crazy years ago. Y'all ain't holding him to the fire.
You right
you know
on
what
that.
I'm saying? Or because let me play devil's advocate. Then he says, we got Obama in office for 8 years. What you done for y'all? The statistics are still the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now y'all got Harris in here, and y'all keep promoting. And let me tell you this. This is what I loved about it. And somebody on his team dropped the ball. Because they asked him during the debate that, let me also say, he went to the NABJ conference. He showed up. Harris, and the thing is,
I know you was gonna hit on that.
No disrespect to Roland Martin, but he was like, he showed up, but look how and he was going all in, right? But he showed up. And then he says, well, Harris is willing to do it on a Zoom. We ain't asked to be on no Zoom. You get your behind in there and show up.
To the National
You want to be all about our people,
Journalists.
and you're all, especially about black women, you're all about them, and you didn't even show up to NABJ. He showed up. And when they had the next debate, like CBS and all that, they say, why you so focused on race? He wasn't focused on race. When he went to the NABJ, they asked him about it, and he answered them. He never brought it up. So my whole thing is, I'm not saying, because I don't like him either about a lot of things he's saying, but a lot of things he's done. But what he's saying is not wrong. What's the difference between me and Biden? Because Biden was out there saying who didn't want his kids next to you learning and studying. I just took out an ad on something that I thought that was true. We know there's more to it.
Oh, we know there's more to the
What I'm
Central
saying
Park.
to you is, what's the difference between me and that dude? What's the difference? Didn't I sign off on giving money to the HBCUs?
That he's still doubling down on ignorance.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Oh, I believe you. But my point is that he clearly has a base that doesn't care, and that they're so, which you can, I hate to say it, you can learn from it. They're all about their people and their culture. And their thing is they don't care what they got to sacrifice as long as they can be in control. So if you can be a cop and get immunity, really, we're willing to sacrifice other things. But I'm going to tell you, what they don't understand is it's going to bite you on the back end too. And as much as you think you're prepped for that, trust me, you not. Trust me, you not. Because those people that came in January 6th didn't think they was going to jail. They didn't think that, did they? And their ass is up in there now. You see him going to help them? So I just want to make a point. It's 50-50. I see what you're saying. But I'm just saying to a point is, can you be, and even if you're, and I'm saying bigot, but a lot of it is racism too. That's what I really want to say. But are you such a bigot or a racist, or you hate the other party so much that you're willing to roll with something that you know is not right? He blatantly telling you out loud, like, this is what I'm going to do. Really? Mm-hmm. This is what I'm going to do. So my whole thing with Lord Jamal is saying, you should rock with Trump. And I get it why he's saying it. He has excellent points. But my point is that, when he gives immunity to cops, what's your answer going to be? Well, we've been going through that for years. Oh, you think it's bad now? I think you don't understand the level of the darkness it can get to. That's what
the
I'm
point
saying.
that me and you both brought up about going back to our family that's still alive.
Yes.
I know that generation is getting older, but a lot of those cats, a lot of our grandparents, my grandmother's still alive. I got her siblings alive, which are my great aunts and uncles and so forth. They can tell you how they felt about walking around at that time in the 40s and 50s.
Let me say this. My grandmother just passed not too long ago. We know this, right? And I don't think, we have done a pie, but we haven't really talked. Let me say this. I saw the effects of post-traumatic slave syndrome. I'm going to say that again. There was a time where, and I don't want to get a whole history lesson, so people were freed, right?
Yeah.
But they still had the effects of slavery.
Mentally.
And then even though you were freed, you still didn't have civil rights. So you saw it. So now fast forward for a generation that's not accustomed to it. When you first realize it when you're younger, you kind of get so angry and frustrated, but they can't relate to you because they went through it worse. So they looking at you like, I get why you're coming from, but you got to maintain, because if that's all you got to go through,
you ain't go through nothing
what we
yet.
was going through. So just think about the darkness you're going to try to go back to in the generations ahead of you. You don't want them going through that. Trust me, I get it. There's another thing I want to say, but I don't want a certain community feeling a certain type of way.
Yeah.
But I know why they say what they say. I just want to say this as a strong heterosexual black male that is all about masculinity and all about being a man and provide and protect. It's being sold on Trump's side. It's not being sold on Harris' side. And I think that hurts. I think that hurts them. But I still think, no, it's not that. It's not good, man. It's not. You go on that side, it's going to get dark. It's going to get real dark. And trust me, your masculinity will be tested when you're getting pulled over or when you get called the N-word, blade out in his face in front of everybody. Trust me when I tell you. I know where they're coming from with that, but that don't change all that other stuff. And I can't imagine how that's happened. And can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
You talk about athletes and rappers. How all these because I was too young for the Central Park Five, so I didn't get it till it came out, till it got revisited. How are y'all even around this dude? How were you around this dude?
This is why when you just said this is why when you said Lord Jamar made good points, I was waiting to jump in and say no, because he's older than you. So he was of age in New York City during the Central Park Five. And just as a heads up, they took to their social media today to say they're putting in a lawsuit to sue Donald Trump for defamation because he doubled down on their case saying certain things that weren't true. So in regards to the Central Park Five, I hope they win their new lawsuit because they're suing Donald Trump again. But go ahead.
Yeah, I just when you start seeing stuff like that, you can't come back over here. Like Brett Favre, it's just like with Brett Favre. We clearly know you got a race problem. It's evident. There's something you said. I'm not gonna get into it, but the point I'm making is because he over there, he said, "Yo, I don't believe that cop was willing to kill George Floyd." What are you saying, man? Really? I don't even know how you even go around anybody in the locker. I don't even want you over there. You got to go, brother. You can't be over here. You get what I'm saying? So the point I'm making is how they keep coming around. You couldn't say that about a Jewish person. You crazy? They would black boy your behind up out and cancel you so fast you wouldn't know what hit you. Why do we keep allowing them to keep coming around saying blatant racist stuff that is degrading to our culture and saying, yo, well, that was separate from who they... No. Nope. That's how you really feel. It's just now coming out. So you can't come back over here. I don't want you over here, man. You got to go over there. You got to go sit back over there in the corner. But that's just, I'm just making a point. I'm sorry.
Nah, that's a good point.
Go ahead.
Now, we got a lot more to this podcast. That was an interesting 30, 40 minutes we spent. And like I always say, I feel like that's important for us and every podcast to keep it going, to aspire us, our friends, our family, whoever might see this, to start researching. Because oftentimes you hear family and friends or just people in general, I don't do politics. I don't care. You don't do politics. Politics is going to do you, whether you like it or not.
Let me say something. Can I say something?
Go
One more
ahead.
thing. Sorry. So I'm not going to say the culture, but my grandparents came from culture. I'm not saying that they aren't good people and they don't believe in what they believe in. But, it's all don't vote. It's not going to change. It's not going to help nothing. Let me teach you one thing. I want you to go and research your church or religion. This is one thing, and it's going to be without even being offensive. Look at their research as far as it dealt with slavery back in the day and before we had civil rights and what part role they play. And I'll tell you everything you need to know about why you don't need to be supporting whatever you're supporting. If that ever was around supporting slavery or pre-civil rights and they were nowhere in the front line, I don't want to hear anything about you telling me not to vote. Am I making sense?
Nah, that's a great
So
point.
what you need
said
to
it without
do,
saying it.
what you need to do is whatever church you're going to, you need to look at their history. Don't go to no preacher because they ain't gonna tell you what you want to know. Look at their actions. I want to know what this church was doing. I want to know what it contributes toward young black boys going to do college. I want to know what it does to entrepreneurship. The same ones telling you not to vote. I want to know what you're doing. Because if you ain't doing none of that, I don't want to hear nothing about not voting. I have nothing to hear from you.
And you the first person I heard put it like that.
That's just what it is. Facts. I found out some real interesting stuff, and I'm not doing it for everybody else. Y'all do it. Y'all want to know the truth? Go look it up. Or you can sit there and be dumb, deaf, and blind, and when you in a jacked up situation, going to somebody that's telling you wrong information,
ain't gonna be
and they
helping
leave
you out.
right in the dark. Right in the dark.
That's a hell of a point. You the first person, and as somebody who grew up in the church,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into it, but I 1,000% agree with you on that sentiment and how you phrased it.
Yep.
Heck of a point. So that concludes our political section of the podcast. As we go on, we're gonna bring it up. We're gonna do a podcast before and after the November 4th election. So we'll jump on some more politics on the following. So let's get into hip hop. I've been waiting to talk about hip hop for a while.
Yeah, you take this one over
Yeah,
because you want it.
Now, there's a lot to talk about. So Grammys is right around the corner. It's a lot going on with the Grammys. I got my picks on who's gonna win, like Song of the Year. I think Kendrick might got that in the bag with They Not Like Us. But something interesting. So I was supporting an album that just recently released over the summer. It was with Pete Rock and Common. Went out, actually brought the physical album. That's how you know I'm old. I'm in my I'm in my 30s. I ain't the young ninja no more. So I actually brought the physical album. Hold on. Some of y'all too young to understand what this is. This is a vinyl. Dope artwork. This is what hip hop used to be.
Yeah.
You can't stream this. I actually take it out for you.
I'm even ashamed that I don't even got one.
You can't hold the stream. Actual physical vinyl. And yes, you can actually play you can actually buy a vinyl. You can actually buy a vinyl player off the Amazon. Oh, that's not it. That's not it. Some of y'all too young to know what this is. Azar, what is this?
That's a tape cassette. That's my era.
Oh, it's my era too.
Yeah.
I come from that cloth. You when you streaming, you can't hold this, man. So I'm gonna get on with the get on.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I'm loving this. Just keep talking, D.
That came out. I said, nah, man, Pete Rock is dope. Common is dope. I got to actually support hip hop. And I actually went out and brought the physical vinyl and the physical cassette tape. Then that got me to wondering. It started sending me down a rabbit hole. I said, hold up. They can't be the only people selling physical music. So I started seeing ads on my Instagram for platforms selling actual physical tapes and other vinyls. So I was like, yo, this is like it's like a little underground movement right now. I'm gonna put that to the side for the second part of the discussions, but I'm just gonna get on Common and Pete Rock. They're nominated for 3 Grammys, for 3 categories in the Grammys. I'm gonna say that again. Common and Pete Rock are nominated for 3 categories in the Grammys off of that album. Before I get on with the get on, what do you think about what I just said with Common and Pete Rock being nominated for 3 Grammys?
That's very big. That's big for hip hop. And not only because it's just hip hop, but it's the artist. It's the quality of the artist. Like Common, who's dope and has been a dope MC from day one since he got in here, that's super big. That's not to mention Pete Rock, who's a legendary producer, who till this day, in my opinion, does not get the credibility he deserves. So, I mean, for them to be, it's not only big, but it's about damn time. That's the best way I can put that. It's about time.
And please forgive me because I don't have the actual categories, but I think one of them was for most melodic song, which it was the song that's featuring Jennifer Hudson. There Is a God. Out, I want to say album of the year and another nomination. Please forgive me for not having the exact categories, but there's 3 of them. And I hope they win because it's a dope quality sounding album. I hope artists get back to linking up with one producer because he locked in with Pete Rock. I don't it's nice to have multiple sounds on the album, but when you lock in with one producer, they can actually hone and craft that album. Before I go on, what you think about that? Artists going back to sitting down with one producer on the album.
I love it. I love it. I think that, it's just like what you're talking about with the DJ when they make a mixtape. Like they're zoned in and focused, and it's a better quality of music coming out. I think it was okay when you had multiple producers as long as they were on the same page. So if you go listen to Nas's first album, he had clearly more than he had Pete Rock, Large Professor, Moby. Yeah, he had like ill producers, but they were all the same quality of producers. They were creative producers that never bit each other's style, and they always kept it 100. So, but they love the raw MCs. They're not gonna do the even though Pete Rock did Who World Is This, that's about as commercial as you was gonna get, and it's not even a commercial record, but it was just super dope. So I think when you got producers like Pete Rock and you sitting with him and just letting him do what he do with you got to come out with nothing but classic music. I don't know why Pete Rock is not put up there more, like how you put Ron Browse and Swizz and all them. Like he's just as illmatic as them.
So I'm gonna get to that.
I don't understand. That's why I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's why I think that would be a tremendous one for hip hop if they win at least one of those awards. I believe they're probably gonna get it for most melodic tune with the record "A God" featuring Jennifer Hudson. I know because that record is banging. The way she's singing and harmonizing over it, the way it's produced and everything.
Yeah.
But where I'm gonna go with this is the same place I went last year. Now, last year I said this and nobody paid me attention. Back in October, we did a podcast before the Grammys, and I said a certain rapper was gonna win from the South. You remember his name?
You said
Killer Mike.
Yep.
I said I hope Killer Mike wins the Grammys because that album was banging, and then I went somewhere with it. So I'm going to say the same thing. I want to timestamp this. It's October 21st, 2024. Deshaun Jones, a.k.a. Son of a Jones, is putting a timestamp on this. This album, The Auditorium, Common and Pete Rock, will win a Grammy. Now, why I want them to win a Grammy is because it does something for the culture of hip-hop music. We know for the last 5 to 10 years where the sound quality, forget the raps, I'm talking about the sound quality. I know engineers can relate to this. It's like microwavable crap. If you're an engineer, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
The studio production. They're ripping beats off of YouTube, not making a real sound for hip-hop music. This album with Common and Pete Rock, they created their sound. They created their style. They really put hip-hop quality music back in style, along with good rap lyrics. I think the rap lyrics came second or third on the album for me listening to it. Again, the artwork popped out first. The production popped out second. And then the way Common is spitting popped out last. Right. It's just a good quality mill. The other place I'm going with is what I said about Killer Mike. They're up in age. I like to see hip hop growing up.
Yeah.
Hip hop is a young people's sport.
No, it's not.
It's for 18 and 25-year-olds. Well, last year, Killer Mike at 48 won a Grammy. This year, you might have a 50-year-old rapper and a 50-year-old producer. I don't know if they're in their they might be in their late 40s.
I think they're late 40s,
but two guys in their late 40s might win multiple Grammys within hip-hop culture. That's going to send shockwaves to you young cats thinking you don't have to try as hard when you're putting out a quality project. When you're doing your mumble and drill raps, talking about how you're just going to hawk them down because that's the area y'all living in because y'all 20 years old. That ain't going nowhere. That's not pushing the culture forward. When you put your catalog up, nobody's going to buy that. Multiple people bought this. I'm not the only person with this vinyl or cassette tape. That's what it's going to do for hip hop. It's going to put the focus back into putting the quality music together. That's first and foremost. Got anything you want to add?
I just want to say salute to Pete Rock and Common, because I think a lot of you artists need to keep doing that. Like, you know, like for example, like, you know, like 50 Cent needs to keep making music. Like, you know, and he doesn't need to. I'm just saying, like, I don't think you understand, like, it's the classic, it's the timeless music. It's you gotta respect it. You gotta love it. So yo, if y'all or any artist that's of older age, like a Slick Rick,
Thank you.
like a
Keep that point.
right, like a you know, like Fat Joe, like all of them, keep making music. We need y'all to make music. Some of this stuff, yo, I got satellite radio because I got tired of listening to the radio because it was that bad. I was like, yo, I can't do this, man. This is too much. You know what I mean? So I you know, Lord Jamal, even though I don't agree with his stuff right now, what's coming out of his mouth, still keep making the music. You know what I mean? Brand Nubian. Who else, man? I said Fat Joe. You know, Nice and Smooth. Keep doing what y'all doing. Keep making the music. We need that music. Who said you too old to do what? Those rock stars that Ozzy Osbourne, all them, Metallica, all them, they
Make
still
multiple
touring.
albums
They
after
still
that.
touring.
Hey, they make multiple albums after the age of 50.
Yeah.
But we're over here in hip hop talking about you 42. Why you still rapping? Well, if you can create great art, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying every Uncle Joe that's 48 years old need to rap, because some of y'all do need to hang it up.
Yeah.
But for our legacy acts, and then I'm going to touch on something else, for our underground hip hop artists, because there's a lot of underground hip hop artists that's over the age of 40.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't stop making raps.
Yeah.
You don't have an RJ Payne without that. RJ Payne's up there in
I
age.
love RJ Payne, man.
And there's multiple others like RJ Payne that's putting in that pain underground that's over the age of 35.
Go to RJ Payne's platform, whether it's Instagram, whatever. You can find all his links to get his music. Please, man, that brother's illmatic. Him too. Eric Sermon, don't stop making music.
Oh, great
Redman,
producer.
who just released 3 or 4 videos recently. Please don't stop making music. Method Man, keep doing what you're doing. Y'all, do not stop making. I think Mary J. Blige got a new album coming.
Yeah.
Just keep coming. Don't stop. I mean, who are you listening to says stop making music? Who? Because they ain't even selling no records. Can't be Sexy Red, because she ain't really doing too well. She has to make money off her shows because her record sales ain't doing great. So I don't know who you listening to. I personally don't want, and let me say this, it's not a shot, but as attractive as Buell's Megan Thee Stallion is, I don't, man. I don't want that in my constant rotation. And any woman that's sitting up there promoting and running around pumping that all day, I'm like kind of looking at you like, yeah, I'd rather go listen to MC Light's record. That's on our website. Because contrary to what other people who say that have podcasts, like, oh, we're the real this, that, and that. Yeah, I don't never see you pushing nothing real. Nothing that. Don't even see it on your website or nothing. Just saying. But we'll keep quiet.
So the point I want to piggyback off of, you said an important thing. You wanted a certain age demographic to keep producing music.
Yeah.
I want to add on to that point. So the rabbit hole that I went down when I showed you guys these physical albums that I got, because I got more on my show. I want y'all older artists to keep making music, but go back to how you started, which was producing the physical copies, because obviously consumers like myself and others are still buying them. I'm not the only person who went on Amazon and brought a tape player. I'm not the only person. I know I'm being a little nostalgic right now.
That's
I'm not the
old
only
school
person
day.
with this.
Yes, sir.
I'm not the only person with a CD player at my house.
Yep.
But there's a market for all you artists that's over the age of 30, between the ages of 30 and 50, especially if you're underground hip hop artists. Yeah, I used to come out and tell consumers like me back in the early 2000s, yo, I was hustling the tapes out the trunk of my car, and I used to pop up at networking events, and I was selling 100 a night. Your fan base grew up with you. We remember how we used to support you.
Yep.
We remember going to the mom and pop shops, buying your tape or your CD. We're still out here. Don't
Facts.
stop releasing physical copies. So the rabbit hole I jumped down once I brought one physical copy. And just real quick, that came about because I told you I had to delete Tidal off my phone because it was eating up too much memory. I looked at my phone. My phone was saying memory up, and then I looked at the apps. It said Tidal was eating up 60 gigabytes, so I had to delete that. Once I went down a rabbit hole, I started seeing ads pop up on my social media. So one ad I saw was this company called Bars Over BS, and they're not paying me to do this. This is strictly for the love of hip hop. 38 Special, who's an artist from upstate New York who I support, was releasing a physical album, a CD on this platform. So I clicked the link on their Instagram, and I was about to buy the tape, but I guess I was too late because they only pressed up a certain copies and it sold out. I was like, oh, shoot, he sold out however many copies.
Right.
So I started looking through. They had a lot of underground artists. Planet Asia, Benny the Butcher, 38 they had a lot. Graph. I brought Graph CD, his tape from there, and it'd be shit.
Yeah.
They had a lot of underground artists who was collabing with them on their platform. And I was like, yo, I just started clicking and looking. So I'm on there and I just randomly see some artwork, see a name that stuck out. And I say, hey, let me just buy this and just to see. And I think on there somewhere, I think it said Long Island. So as soon as it said Long Island, I'm like, oh, let me try this. I used to live in Long Island. My grandparents, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, yo, this is how hip hop felt. When you used to go to the mom and pop shops and the person there is like, yo, hey, you need to try this out. This is my man from the Bronx or Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
That's the feeling I got when I visited this platform, man. When I visited the Bars Over BS, they platform, just because they was promoting on social media, and I saw that 38 Special ad, which led me down a rabbit hole, and I saw all the other underground artists that y'all was promoting physical tapes. Man, that put me back in a real nostalgic hip hop feeling. So I want all you older artists to remember how y'all used to grind and hustle at networking events. How even when you didn't have a show, how you used to pop up at your man's show and y'all used to sell tapes. Go back to that, because us as a consumer, we're still out here. We want to support you. I think I commented on like J.R. Ryder's Twitter. I'm like, yo, you need to release something. I want to buy it. I want to support you. You was one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, him, Hell Rel, all of them.
Yeah, and he responded like, yo, my next album, I'm gonna do that.
You talking about the Bars Over?
Yeah, Bars Over in general. I don't know what platform he gonna use, but he said it.
Yeah.
So yeah, salute to all the older artists that's grinding out there. I don't want y'all to forget how y'all started, because the record labels told y'all streaming is in, and I'm gonna talk about that last. But get back to producing physical copies of music of how y'all started. It didn't go out of style. Next, I want to highlight an artist that I found on Bars Over BS. So when I told you Long Island, I was sitting up there looking up all the artists on a platform, and I came across this brother by the name of Spoda. He put out an album with Wavy the God, who I'm currently listening to. They from, or at least Spoda is from Bayshore, Long Island, which is out east in Suffolk County. Did a great thing, man. But again, for hip hop, what pops out to me, the artwork.
Yeah.
You don't get this with streaming.
No more. No, you don't get.
So the artwork, whoever designed the cover to this album, the graphic artist for this tape caught my eye. I was like, oh, this is dope. Oh, then I saw the little description of where he's from. And from there, then a producer. I believe the producer is Wavy the God. Well-produced album. I'm going to say it again. Well-produced album. So salute to the underground artists that's doing their thing. I just wanted to highlight an independent artist. Don't know the brother, never met him. He ain't paying me to shout him out. This is just the love of hip hop.
Yeah.
Salute to that platform. Salute to all the artists on there, and I hope y'all get back to that. You got anything you want to add on that?
I'm just, I don't want to use the word overwhelmed, but I'm kind of like grateful that you showed all this and pushed all this.
I ain't even show all of it.
Because I'm loving it right now.
Y'all know who this is? Rhapsody, that dope artist from North Carolina.
On Rock Nation, right?
On Rock Nation, but Knife Wonder, shout out to Knife Wonder. That's how I found out about her back in the days. Cop the vinyl, physical album. Look at the artwork. Look at hip hop.
That's dope.
This is hip hop.
Is that her grandmother? That's dope, man.
You can't stream this artwork. I'm gonna say it again. You can't stream this artwork. That's a part of hip hop.
Right.
Oh yeah, just in case y'all think I'm just I support hip hop. The CD.
Right.
Can I ask you something, A? Because I'm an older millennial, right? If I line up a group of older millennials and I ask them,
I missed that, man.
and I asked a bunch of you older millennials over the age of 35, what was y'all room decorated with when y'all was teenagers?
Posters.
Answer that, Azar.
Pictures, posters.
Where did y'all get those posters and pictures from?
From either the magazines or the CDs or from mostly magazines, but also the CDs. We should take the CD covers and
Say it again, Azar.
We should take the CD covers and plaster them on the wall. You know what I mean? So, it used to be like art.
So y'all wonder why I had the physical album? Y'all miss what my partner said, how we grew up living hip hop.
Yeah.
That was in our, you went to our rooms when we were teenagers and saw the DMX poster on the wall. That's where we got it from. We were literally living the culture.
Yeah.
It wasn't about being out in the streets. We was enjoying the artwork. We was visualizing the stories that they were telling in these albums.
Right.
Can't get that from streaming.
At all.
Last part I want to say, the reason why I'm going to keep stressing that, because I think the record labels lied to us. When they pushed this whole streaming platform, it was solely because they wanted to control the technology.
Yeah.
Because recently, I just went on a lot of them record label websites. Def Jam, Atlantic Records. Oh, guess what they selling when you hit the shop button? Guess what they selling, eh?
CDs and
They
tape?
selling physical music.
Really?
Oh my God. Oh, the 40th year of Def Jam. Let's release our old catalog. You can find your artist's favorite CD. Who are they marketing that to, Azar? Tyler? Who is Def Jam marketing CDs and vinyls to?
They gotta be to the old school premillennials. They have to be.
People who know what they are.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? Super
like,
facts. You know
Like
what I
that.
mean?
And there's gonna be somebody in the comments. Oh, you didn't know that? I mean, the way they was pushing it on us.
Nope.
I was lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
I recently stumbled down this rabbit hole 2 months ago. I said, Def Jam is releasing physical albums?
Yeah.
I thought streaming was in. So what I'm telling you older artists is that is over the age of 30, don't let them dupe you out anymore, because I think record labels are going to start making a comeback pushing physical music.
Yeah.
They're pushing bundles, not just the vinyl. Like you can cop all three, the vinyl, the cassette tape, and the CD of some of your favorite artists that they still own the masters to.
Right.
Now imagine if you was an independent artist building a catalog and you own your masters, what you can do. Don't think about it, oh, I'm not streaming 1 million streams. I'm gonna pull back up these albums again. Hold on. You owe that.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I got more. I ain't even show this. This is Benny the Butcher and 38 Special. They just released the album called Stabbed in the Shop 2. Shout out to upstate New York. Shout out to Rochester and Buffalo. They are going to start making a push, the record labels, to turn back around and sell the stuff they told you that didn't matter. If you sell as an independent artist quarterly 50 copies of a vinyl or a CD or a tape, that might be more valuable than getting 10,000 streams a quarter or a month.
Yeah.
Because the hand-to-hand connection that you're making directly to the consumer holds more weight than a stream. I'm going to say that again. For you older artists, especially you underground artists, you need to get back to hand-to-hand physically selling, not just this, anything physical, vinyl, CD, cassette tape.
Yeah.
If you sell 50 cassette tapes quarterly, that might hold more weight for you as an underground artist than 100,000 streams. That connection you made with the consumer because you put some dope artwork, that you might have signed the autograph and the vinyl, the CD, that's gonna hold more weight for you as an underground artist than 100,000 streams. I hope you're out there listening.
Yeah.
Shout out to hip hop culture, man, because we live this. It's not just something we talking about from a podcast. That's why I asked you that question when I said, yo, hey, what did our rooms look like as teenagers? And you said what?
Yeah, it was like art. It was like artwork.
We treated hip hop like art.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up those vinyls. Not this to have a nostalgic moment, but to show you how much of art is within hip hop. It's a culture. It's not just streamed on YouTube. The style, the look, the clothes we wear, the slang, the stuff we talk, we're living it. It's art to us, at least for us, the people who care about the culture.
Right.
Salute to the culture of hip hop. Salute to our older artists, because I'm still rocking with you. And like I said, the message that I had to end this segment, because I know I rambled on and on.
Yeah,
You older artists that are over the age of 30, the record labels lied to y'all. Your fan base still remembers how we supported you 20, 30 years ago. Get back to hustling the way you were hustling within hip hop culture. Get back to selling physical copies, whether it's vinyl, CDs, or tapes. You push 50 tapes quarterly. That's gonna do better for your career than 100,000 streams.
Facts.
So that ends our hip hop segment. Now we about to transition. I know you waiting for this because I talked for about an hour.
Yo,
I've been yapping, Yap
up,
Central.
Man? No.
But now we about to transition. We about to transition to Azar section, which is sports.
No, it was needed.
So I'm gonna hike the ball to you. You want to start off with football or basketball?
Did you want the NY joint last night?
Oh man, you doing this to me, man.
You wanted to wait till
now you brought it up. You want to talk about the WNBA?
Okay, yes.
So we about to start our sports segment, and within sports, the WNBA just finished Game 5 between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty, with the New York Liberty winning their first championship in league history. Go ahead.
I let me say first, congratulations and salute to the New York Liberty. They won their first championship since the existence of the team. They've never won a title. Their best bet was when they had Becky Hammond, Teresa Weatherspoon, Sue Wicks, Kim Hampton, all of them, right? But they never could pull it off. And you gotta remember Rebecca Lowell. They kind of weren't in their prime. You know what I mean? They weren't in their prime, but just saying like the Liberty were, were the Liberty. They were like the Knicks. They get there, and then after a while, they were a good team.
They pull a John Starks.
Somehow they just never win.
They pull a John Stark.
Game 7 against Houston. I know, man. It still hurts. So long story short, they've had successful teams, but once Joseph Tsai took over the team, he kind of went all in. I think he started off the way he did, and then he built the team, and then he went in all in and built a super team. He drafted Sabrina Ionescu, and then he built around her the pieces that was needed. It basically was a super team. You had Jonquel Jones, Breonna Stewart, Courtney Vandersloot. Also, they drafted. I think they did. I don't think they drafted. I think they brought in Benaja Laney Hamilton.
They got Thornton over there, who's a great defensive player.
Benaja Laney Hamilton, to this day, I feel gets not enough credit for the role she's played in this Liberty franchise. That's just a side note. We'll address that in another episode. But salute to them for winning. I think when you look at what that franchise, and what a lot of people don't know, and I'm not going to get into the whole story, that franchise is about to become extinct. Like they wasn't the previous owner, and we'll get into that in another episode. He wasn't rocking with them. But salute to what they're going, how they won, how they did their thing. But let me also make it clear how they won. There was a lot of controversy in that game last night.
Man, let me lob it up.
And okay, you go.
Let me lob the question up. Since you went there with the controversy, was the Minnesota Lynx cheated out of a championship? I'm getting straight to it.
Yes. That was not a foul. I think it's Smith. Is that was her name? She got to the spot first, and she didn't touch Brianna. That was something that was a bad call. That was a horrible call.
I know people joke on the internet, but see, we really did the media independently covering the Liberty since 2011. So people who take the W serious, it wasn't fun because I saw the little joke. So who watches the W? Hundreds of thousands of millions of people watch the W. But to see that game get taken away from the Lynx, put a sour taste in real fans' mouth. If you're fake, if you just started watching the W, you don't care. But if you've been supporting the W for over 10, 20 years, when you saw that, you had to be like, nah, that wasn't the way that was supposed to end.
No. That was one. The Liberty got home court and they got the calls, but that was horrible. That was a horrible call. And Cheryl Reeve is not wrong. She's 1,000% right. They got robbed. She's not wrong for that. And shouts out to the Minnesota Lynx, because I don't think they get enough credibility. So let me say this. They say, well, because remember, it was the Liberty, Minnesota, Connecticut, and Vegas. And I give Minnesota enough props, not only just because they were robbed and they should have won the title, but because of the way they got there. They didn't have the super team hype that the New York Liberty had. They started off being picked 9th this season. And me and you saw when they went to every market, whether it was Vegas, whether it was New York, whether it was Connecticut, they were beating and shutting down teams and putting it on the hammer on a lot of teams. And they were doing it very convincingly. So I'm not shocked that they took the Liberty to 5 games. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that they took Connecticut to 5 games. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that they wanted to make Diana Taurasi send her on a retirement party home. I'm not shocked. So they did everything in their power. Shouts out to Courtney Williams, who I to this day don't think she still gets the respect she deserves. And I think next year they'll be back better and stronger. I really do. So what I took away from last night, salute to the Liberty and to New York, because we ain't had a championship in New York since 2012? No, the Yankees won in 2009. The Giants, I think, won in 2012.
Or 2010.
I gotta look it up. The Giants, the Giants won a few years, but it's been some years. We're in 2025. It's been some years. So New York franchise won anything. So salute to the Yankees because they made it to the World Series. So being that the Liberty took care of business, Yankees, it's your turn now. But point I'm making is salute to the Liberty because I think for everything that they have been through and what I saw that franchise go through, especially playing in the Westchester Arena with the NBA G League, the Knicks G League plays, and what they had to go through to come out of that, and God knows respectability to the players that was there for that mess. But I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's great, but I also think that the Minnesota Lynx got robbed. They got robbed. They couldn't have played a better game than the way they played. They got robbed. That was bad. So, but you can't take anything away from the Liberty because, to be honest with you, I mean, Minnesota. I mean, they took Minnesota to 5 games. So salute.
So I want to piggyback off of that. I agree with you. 2 things can be true. I believe that we can salute the New York Liberty for what they've been through, for how they built their franchise. We can salute Sandy. We can salute
Sandy Bordello.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can let me because I know they hate when we say the head coach. I want to put some respect on her name.
Yeah.
We can salute head coach Sandy Bordello. We can salute all the players for the grind that they went through, even from those coming from other teams. But we can also say 2 things are true. So salute to all the players. Salute. We forgot to mention the player Sabali. I want to pronounce her last name right. Is it Sabali or Sabali? On in New York.
Sabali. Sabali. Yeah, Sabali.
No, Satu is her sister
Uh-huh.
on the Dallas Wings.
Right.
But I don't want to mispronounce her name because I know they'll kill me, but I want to say Sabali or Sabali, if I'm pronouncing her name.
Mm-hmm.
She came through in a major way outside of Jonquel Jones. Played amazing defense, high energy person, did everything she can do to help the New York Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the Minnesota Lynx, when you said they couldn't play any better, they held Sabrina Ionescu for 1 for 19. I'm going to say that again, Azar. 1 for 19. She shot 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Brianna Jones didn't do much better.
No.
So there are two leaders on the New York Liberty. The Minnesota Lynx held Sabrina Ionescu
In John
Sabrina Ionescu 1 for 19.
Mm-hmm.
And Brianna Jones didn't shoot much better. Jonquel Jones did good. She won the MVP. She won Finals MVP. But the Minnesota Lynx.
I'm just saying Brianna Jones. Who you referring to?
I'm sorry, Brianna Stewart.
Okay, yes.
I mispronounced that.
Yeah, you lost me. I was like, wait, what's he? I
meant to say Jonquel Jones did her thing.
Okay, yeah.
So if I mispronunciated that, Jonquel Jones won the Finals MVP.
Yes, I got you. Yes. Now
Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu played like hot dog water. That's the nicest way. That's the nicest way I can put it.
Right.
So just in case I mispronunciated, Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart played like hot dog water.
Yeah.
Sabali and Jonquel Jones pretty much got them to where they got them, and then the refs pushed them over.
Yeah.
I have to go there with that.
Yeah.
So when you said they did everything they could, when you hold their star player for 1 for 19, I don't think that's ever been done before.
No, they shut her down.
So then when I see the final play of the game, which is Brianna Stewart, got the inbound ball, traveled. So you forgot to throw the travel in. Traveled, took about 4 steps, then chucked up a shot against Smith where she hit all ball and they gave her a foul.
Yeah.
Then the refs came back and said illegal guarding position.
Right.
I'm like, oh, come on. Like, NBA players started tweeting like, that's not, no. When LeBron James was like, that's.
Yeah, LeBron James came out and said,
there was a number of NBA players that was live tweeting why this was happening. It was like, y'all took the game. What you don't want to see in a championship, I don't care if it's baseball, football, hockey, you don't want to see the refs take the game out of the players' hands.
Even with Shannon Sharp, he said that this morning too. He said, they got robbed. He said that doubt. I mean, and he said he knew when they tried to review the play, he said, I don't know why you bothered. So you was going to review the play and then change
lie.
it. In a game 5 in New York, you was going to do that. Come on, son. Famous words that I love us.
So we did a lot of talking, but here's a question. What do you think the consequences should be? Because there's consequences for players when they talk out, they get fined.
Yeah. Which she's going to get fined.
Yeah,
so
fine.
After that.
But
yeah.
in any sport, whether it's the NBA, whether it's the WNBA, whether it's football, what should the consequences be when the ref does a horrible, blatant call that everybody sees? It's not questionable. It's not like, oh, get over it, stop crying. No. Analysts saw it, media saw it, professional players saw it, Twitter, everybody saw it. What do you think the consequences should be when a ref screws up that bad?
They can't do the finals. They cannot do the finals next year. If you're gonna make decisions like that bad, and you reviewed it and you still chose not to, then you can't do next year's finals. If the league agrees with what Cheryl Reed said and say, look, hey, we made a mistake, they can't be in the finals next year, especially if Minnesota gets back. You can't. And let me tell you something else. Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
Well, another thing I took from this, so they're already predicting, like, the Liberty have the best chance to go back and repeat next year. I know y'all don't really follow women's college basketball, or not women's, WNBA, some of y'all. But you have to be a damn fool to think that the Liberty is just going to come back in there and just run through. I could tell you right now, Las Vegas.
You don't think they revamping?
Son, they
know they're going to have to revamp.
First of all, they were going for a 3-peat. And the reason why Becky Hammond she said, yo, we were doing too much. What she meant was the commercials, the shows, the going. You get what I'm saying? But that's what happens when you're a 2P champion. You're known now. They're
And
doing they're doing commercials. You know what I'm saying?
Your MVP is only 27 years old.
Facts.
Go
Not to
ahead.
mention, I could tell you right now, Minnesota is going to
They're not
run it
going
back
nowhere.
because they really didn't do anything wrong. They can run it right back. They don't need
They
nobody
could do
else.
the exact same thing next year.
So when you look at teams like this, and now you got Caitlin Clark coming, because I'm pretty sure
They're
they're
going
going
to figure something out over there as well.
So to say that, oh well, they got the best chance. I think what you did, and no disrespect, remember when we covered the mid majors, and they do the predictions for the season. It be looking like they looking at what happened last year or who was in order at the last year of the standings and said
it changes
this is our
every year.
preseason. That ain't like that in here, and they don't be writing that either. But it's like now what they doing to WNBA. Well, the Liberty got the best chance based on what? Did you not see that 1-for-19 thing that we saw? Did you not see how Brianna choked? You think you could do that against Vegas next year?
It wasn't just that game. Remember, she missed the free throws the game before.
Remember how poorly she played last year in the finals when Vegas two-peated. So, no. You got out of it this time. But I can tell you, sure, you next year, you ain't going to get out of that.
Yeah. So that's what I got to say on that topic. Salute to the New York Liberty. Salute to the players. Like I said, we covered them prior in previous years. Thornton played amazing. Sabali played amazing. Jonquel Jones played amazing. Benaja Laney was it Hamilton? I want to get her last name correct.
Benaja Laney Hamilton, yes.
Yeah, she played amazing. So I want to give those player props and not take nothing away from them. But yeah, y'all barely made that. Y'all barely made it out through the skin of y'all teeth. So
Let me say this about, and I want to say this about Benaja Laney Hamilton, and I don't want this to come off as like a shot at anybody else on the team. I remember when that team wasn't a super team. I remember when Walt Hopkins was there, and everything wasn't panning out the way they thought it was. I saw Benaja Laney Hamilton step up, and when they needed shots, and when they needed somebody to play, and when they needed somebody to do defense, and in his safe face, she was that girl. She still is that girl. You just got a slew of all-stars around. So she's an all-star in her own right, but you ain't gonna see it because of everything that's around. But it's not, and I know she was on a big stage last night, but I don't really think you understand the contribution she led to that team winning that title last night. She has played an intricate role in that team getting to where they're at right now. And that's just personally my opinion from what my eye test tells me. Trust me, she goes anywhere else, you would see it instantly. Instantly, you would see it. Even unless there's some turmoil. It's like what we saw with Maybe when she went to Connecticut.
yeah,
We saw it right away. So that's how automatic she is. But she ain't gonna get no credibility. I in my opinion, she doesn't get enough credibility. Let me put it to you that way. That's what I want to say about that.
salute to her, man. Salute to her. Got anything else you want to talk about within the WNBA?
Just I can't wait for next season.
Let's put our predictions out here for next season.
Okay, because I know we're gonna on our next podcast we're gonna kind of get
Yeah,
more in depth.
we'll go more in depth, but just a prediction. Who do you have for next year?
Let me put it to you this way: I see top 4 teams right now. I see definitely Minnesota because they had nothing to do. They don't need to improve. They're already who they need to be. I see Vegas as another team. I see New York, and until I see what Connecticut does in the offseason,
I got to see all season from them as well.
I'm gonna put. Yeah, I need to see. Yeah, you're right. You're gonna. It's gonna. I think Indiana.
Okay.
I think Caitlin Clark and them are going to take another step. They're going to take another step. So until, because they came on strong. But I think experience hurt them in the end because Connecticut took it to them and mollywopped them. Said, no, we will not be going back to Indiana for no game 3. We're gonna take care of you right now, and you can go home and try to come back next year. You know what I'm saying? So I think the top 4 teams, I think she'll be in our top 4. I'm pretty sure, like I said, it depends on what Connecticut does, and we'll see what they do in the offseason. But remember, as another note, there's a team in Atlanta that's better than what people are giving them credibility for.
Okay.
There's a team in Seattle that just
You took one of my picks.
that just did what they were gonna do. They're now gonna have a year under their belt of being a team.
Drew Lloyd, Skylar Diggins Smith, and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna see what's gonna happen with them, and I really think they're the two sleepers. I think is gonna be. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm over talking.
No. Don't do it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So my teams are Vegas, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I think depending on the off season, I wanna give a chance to Seattle. They didn't do what they were supposed to do this year, but that was the first year that they're together.
They had been playing together, yeah.
I believe with the off season and maybe some moves that they're gonna take a step in the right direction. So I got them up there. The fourth team is hard to pick. I know somebody's gonna say pick the champs, but it's hard.
I'm waiting for you to get done. I'm gonna say something.
It's my fourth is tied between them and Connecticut, but I'm just like you on that. I honestly got to see what Connecticut does in the off season.
Yeah,
and that's no disrespect because we covered them media wise.
Yeah, we can tell you everything about.
We covered them media wise, but I know there's some things in the off season. I think there's a few players on the last year of their deals, so I honestly have to see with them what they do in the off season before I give them my fourth spot. It's a toss up between them and Connecticut. I'm gonna leave that blank.
Okay.
So right now I got Vegas, the Lynx, and Seattle. Go ahead.
Who's your two sleepers?
Shit. Damn.
You didn't name you. There was two other. You didn't name the other teams, so it's and salute to. Is it Golden State and Toronto's coming next year?
2025. Okay.
Yeah, Golden State and Toronto coming in. Well,
and I wonder how that's gonna work. There's people that can educate me better on that topic.
Yeah.
The sleeper is that's tough because I got to think about the draft. Whoever gets Paige Beckers is going to be the sleeper.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't care who the team is. I don't care if the team is Washington. I don't care if the team is Los Angeles, especially if she somehow ends up in Los Angeles with what they already got, with Rakia Jackson and the other girl who will be coming back, Cameron Brink, who will be coming back from an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's the team that ends up with Paige Buckers, I hope I'm pronouncing her last name.
Yeah.
So I'll just say Paige from UConn. Mm-hmm. Whoever ends up with Paige from UConn is the sleeper for next year. Been following her game. We showed up to UConn game when they made it far in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
She's a 3-level hooper, meaning she can score on all levels.
Yeah.
The thing with her is she has size. She's like 6 feet, so she's slightly taller than Sabrina. She has the handle that the girl from Indiana, that Caitlin Clark. No, she has the handle that Caitlin Clark doesn't have.
Right.
So that's Caitlin Clark's weakness. Her handle is suspect. Paige is coming in with top-notch shifty handle. Mm-hmm. So imagine somebody who has a mid-range game too, because Paige also has a mid-range game.
Mm-hmm.
This might be the most complete player until we see Juju Watkins come in when Juju Watkins comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no disrespect. I'm not taking shots at Caitlin Clark because I know there's the whole fan base, so I'm not coming at her. But I just saw the media hype surrounding her. I'm telling you from a skill perspective, Paige from UConn, I rate her skill level slightly ahead of Caitlin Clark because her handle, her mid-range game, and her passing. So my answer to you is whoever's the team that ends up with Paige, they might make a playoff run in the first year.
Wow. Okay.
Got anything else you want to add?
No, I just think that, and just to conclude with the Liberty won a title, let me make it clear, and it's even bigger because it's New York. So y'all will be doing commercials, y'all will be doing promoting, y'all will be getting invitations to things. It's going to be a whole different vibe. So I'm hoping, and I know they'll be back coming hungry. Every team comes back hungry wanting to win the title. But it's one thing. The thing that, this is the plus I will say. The plus is they know how it is to be hunted because you were in New York and you built a super team. So everybody's giving you their best shot anyway. So you're accustomed to that. But at the same time, when you're the champs, you have more obligations outside of being on the
especially
court.
in a big market city.
So we'll see. We'll see. I don't see it happening of them repeating, but I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong because Minnesota. They got cheated. Let's just say that. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Want to travel over to football?
Yeah, sure.
So before we get to the NFL, because I know you got a lot to say about the NFL,
Yeah.
want to briefly talk about the story within college football,
Okay.
which is the good brother Deion Sanders
Oh,
and the
really?
Colorado Buffaloes.
Okay, let's talk about that.
So we know the history.
Mm-hmm.
We know last year they were 4-8. There was a lot of media talk about them, and then starting this season, it was a whole bunch of jokes about how they might barely win.
Sorry.
There was a whole bunch of jokes about how they might barely win 5 games. Oh, they ain't gonna be much better. So we see that now the Colorado Buffaloes are sitting at 5-2 within their division. They're one game, I believe, away from being bowl eligible.
Okay.
Has Deion Sanders exceeded expectations? That's question number
Yes.
1.
Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
He exceeded expectations. Last year, what I thought is that he was going to do at least like 6-5. I thought that was the best. If you look at his record, when he went to see, what people keep missing, and this is all gonna, I'm going to do it like a full circle. What people keep misunderstanding or keep not understanding, when he got to Jackson State, he did not go and in Jackson State in his first year dominate. He had to go in there, implement the culture, make changes, and it worked to improve the team. Now, last year, I think the team were what, 4-7?
4-8.
4-8.
And
You
there were
know,
2 games they should have won at home.
Right. So what I was basically almost on point. The year before that, they only won 1 game.
And the year before that again.
Right. So it clearly was an improvement, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Then this year is when usually his second year, from based off what I saw from Jackson State, usually his second year is when you start seeing the change that you expect to see, right? That what he's been talking about. So I think that, yes, he has exceeded expectations. They're going to do just fine, and it's going to be very great, and he's going to even just keep going and keep going. Deion knows what he's doing. So understanding they will be winning more games, they will be dominating, he will get that program to what it needs to be. Let's call it what it is. They don't like it because he's not the typical standard, quiet Nick Saban, ooh, kumbaya, let me just be the coach I am and the great man, and I respect the opponent. I don't want to say cocky, he's confident.
But that's the thing that gets me, because in some way he is very down to earth. He's very respectful in the press conference. He constantly talks about his faith and being biblical and stuff, and he always respects his opponent. So I'll just be very blunt. It's because he's black.
Yeah.
See, sometimes I beat around the bush, but sometimes I get straight to the point. Because he's about the most there's people out there that I know if they were to coach of teams, they would be a straight a-hole.
Yeah.
He's like 3 levels under that, but go ahead.
It's not just because he's black, but he's black and confident. He's not being like, oh, we're just gonna come in here and play our best ball and do this and the third. He's not gonna do that. He gonna be like, yo, do you believe in this, that, and third? Now, what I will say is the only knock he has is that he got in every time somebody gives him a criticism, it seems like he kind of like, yo, why you talking about me? Because of Paul Feinbaum, who I see his point, he's not wrong, but I think when he, Deion's wrong for how he's taking it. He's like, yeah, every time I turn around, you got my name in your mouth. Well, Deion, you can't have it both ways.
I agree with you on that.
You want everybody to believe you and be in your back and all this, but then when you turn around, when somebody give you criticism, it's because you went over there making them look over there. And when it don't look right at the end, you can't say, yo, you can't. Why you in my mouth? Because you always got your mouth open. So you can't have it both ways, man.
That's a good point.
You just can't.
That's a good point.
It is what
man.
it is. I think he's going to do a great job. I'm rooting for him.
In that division, where do you see them? Because this game versus Arizona, It looked like it was a full, complete game finally.
He's beating the teams. Last year, you was hoping he was going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
This year, he's beating the teams they're supposed to beat.
Okay, I see.
So
what you're saying.
that's
Gotcha.
even better. I think as far as where do I see this going, they're going to be able to beat anybody they want to beat.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an expectation level. It's going to take time. It's just what it is. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I keep saying that. So, but I'm going to be with you. I don't think Deion's going to be there long. I think he will do such a great job that one of those other Power 5s, because Colorado's in the Big 12.
Yeah.
And it is a Power 5 conference, but I think somebody's going to give him money to go somewhere else.
So what's the over and under that he stays at Colorado longer than next season after Shador and the Heisman Trophy winner? We got to put that out there.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter goes to the NFL. How many years do you have him staying after them two go to the NFL?
2.
Oh, you gave him more than me.
I give him 2 years. He'll be here for 2 years, and somebody gonna give him more money. I still think, as much as he says he won't go in the NFL, if somebody drafts his son, and then that coach don't look too good, there's no way you're gonna say no. You really gonna turn that opportunity to be with your son in the NFL, coaching him on the NFL team? Really, Deion? Really?
He's really gonna turn down being LeBron James?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I know. The shots fired. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
can I say something too?
Go
A
ahead.
side shot. I'm not sidetracking. Paul Feinbaum, who I think is a great journalist, but what did you see the SEC Women's Basketball Media Day? That was terrible. That was the most lamest. It's like you had no business being on that panel. Why were you there? You didn't know what you was doing. Don't ever do that again. Just stay off the screen, man. I don't even think I've seen him at an SEC game covering it.
Most of them don't.
What was you even doing there? That's just a side note. I had to bring that up because I saw it and I was looking like, yo, this is crap. Like, what you clearly don't know what you're talking about. You don't even know what you're doing. You just going off some hype that you saw last year that was attached to Caitlin Clark. So I don't know what you was doing there.
That's what a lot of them did.
I understand that. Oh, we never talked about that. Let me not get started. You got people coming, bringing their daughters because they work for a certain platform, and that dude don't even show up there.
We was there during the Sweet 16. That's a whole nother conversation.
But we'll leave that alone. Let's just go back to Deion.
All right. Now, that was it for the Colorado because that was a big story, I believe.
I just think Colorado better be happy. Their enrollment went up. So let's not even talk about the merchandise, everything. Yeah.
The tickets, the media train behind it.
Yep. He's like Nick Saban. Wherever he goes, he brings success. But go ahead, keep going.
So we're still in college football. It's another team you want to talk about?
As far as you talking about the majors, or you talking about
anything?
Well, I want to shout out. We'll do this on the next podcast. I want to start off with saying salute to Rhode Island Rams football and Coach Jim Fleming and that whole team. I think for what we've seen, and we'll talk about the next podcast, we've seen them have high hopes, and then it don't look as great, and then we see where they've gotten to play good enough or great enough and thought they were going to make the playoffs, and it didn't happen in the way we thought it was going to end. And then I think even last year we didn't really have high expectations of them. And now, when you look at them now, they are now 6-1, and they are on pace to be in the lead in the conference. They're on pace to definitely get in the playoffs. The team didn't have high expectations, but yet somehow they're exceeding it. And when I say exceeding it, not just by getting by, they're exceeding it well. So we'll talk about this on the next podcast, but I want to salute what they're doing because I think it's a great job and it's a story that's not being told.
Definitely.
That needs to be told.
And for those wondering, they play in the CAA conference. So salute to the other teams too.
Yeah.
But as my partner said, shout out to the Rhode Island Rams.
Yeah. We'll talk about that next episode. Also, we covered the UAlbany game this weekend. To kind of give a brief stint about that, because we've been away for a minute. I saw Albany go into that game, and they was coming off like a 2 or 3 game winning streak, and they were playing Elon, who only had 1 win. So Elon was like 1-5. They had everything. They had nothing to lose and everything to gain and everything not to play for. They didn't come in there rolling. They went in there beasting. They went in there. They went in there. I mean, you would think they like the top team in the conference. Their line was physical. They were penetrating. They shut down the run. They put Albany in long yardage situations on 3rd down. Every time Albany scored, let me give you an example. Albany scored the first drive of the game. The next drive, on the kickoff return, Elon scored, ran it back, right? That means, and they never looked back after that. They had to lead the whole game. So that means Albany had to lead for 12 seconds. That's how that game ended. Salute to also an unsung player in there too, because I think his name is Cody Hardy. He's a tight end, and the licks and hits and blocks he was putting on there, statistic wise, it doesn't show his numbers, but the hits and everything he was putting, my God, man, like this, and they were tough and they were physical and they were running the ball and they were pounding it. And they just literally controlled the game every time. To be honest with you, when Albany scored again on a touchdown, they ran the next one for a kickoff return again. Then in the 4th quarter, when Albany gave them the ball back, they never got the ball back. So shouts out to Elon, and it's a lesson, it's the old school lesson. You play every game like it's your last. And when I saw Elon playing this Saturday, the way they play Albany, they could have went in there and said, yo, we're just going to try our best and hope for the best. They played like, yo, we're playing this game like we are still in it. We have everything and nothing to lose. Let's go in here and just play our lights out. And that's exactly what they did. And it's not a shot at Albany because they didn't quit. They kept coming, but it wasn't their day. They weren't executing. And it was because Elon was playing exceptionally well. So salute to Elon, that whole team, that whole staff, that coach, everybody. Salute to them and what I saw.
Again, those are 2 other teams within the CAA conference. So you want to travel over to the NFL?
Yeah. Where do you want to
take that over?
I wanted to talk about, because I think, and it's the one thing I want to bring up is the quarterback situation. I want to bring that up. So let's have this conversation. So first of all, what I saw yesterday, because, I watch football. I got the 3 TVs. I'm YouTube TV. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching whatever I'm watching. So for now, everybody knows why we're on camera. Deshaun Watson tore his ACL yesterday. And if you look at the play, you saw it. You saw it. Like it went and just blew up. So, he fell down, and the Cleveland fans were cheering as he was being carted off the field, because he couldn't get up. I think, and I'm going to go all around about the quarterback situations that I'm just seeing as deplorable. And what hurt me to see is that they were cheering, which is classist and egregious. Let me tell you about the bigger issue. Now, we all know about the off the field antics and stuff that nobody is condoning. There's so many layers to that. So what I am going to say is that not everything was true, but there was some truth to it. But we've passed that point. And what I heard yesterday was they weren't booing the player, they were booing the person. That's the same thing, dumb. What are you doing? What are you saying right now? So my whole thing is like, it was just classless, and any player or any athlete that agreed with that, kick rocks. I'm not going to get into the whole thing because I feel real strong about how these situations happen, and somehow the other person or opposite sex never lies. But we'll leave that alone for now. I just want to say that was egregious. It was just classless. Like I couldn't believe that. And shame on anybody that did it. And also there was a comment made today, and I'm not going to say any names. They was like, yeah, well, all the money he got, that was a slap to all the women, a slap and a spit to all the women that were violated in the situation. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, it wasn't. Wasn't no slap when they collected those checks. But once again, we'll leave that alone. I just didn't agree with the comment. So long story short, to go back into it, I want to talk about the quarterback situations. I don't understand in this market how the quarterbacks are setting up to get a fourth of the salary of the team. Why?
Do you think? Can I respond? Can I be
Go ahead,
objective?
because I'm gonna go in.
Do you think it's because of people looking at certain situations?
Yes.
Not all, but I'll throw out two quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback for the Cowboys, Rain Dakota, because that's his government name. I call him Rain Dakota,
Yeah.
because that's what your mama named you.
Really?
You can.
It's not Dak?
Oh, okay. He think I'm playing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Let me see.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. What his mama name him? I don't even know if you get that clear. Oh, yeah, I can't get that clear. Tell me what his mama name him.
Rain Dakota.
His mama named him Rain Dakota, so I'm going to call him Rain Dakota.
Okay.
So Rain Dakota, the quarterback of the Cowboys, and Daniel Jones. How have those situations worked out going?
What I'm saying is getting to my point. Thank you for saying that.
Just had to lob it up for you.
Yeah. So what it is that they said it's the market. And they say, we have to do what everybody did with Patrick Mahomes. No. Patrick Mahomes is a special talent. You're not going to pay these guys. There's no way I could be an owner. And Dak Prescott comes to me and says,
Rain Dakota.
He comes to me and says, yo, I want this money. This is the market. I would say, go find a market. With the way the Cowboys are playing, do you really think that they're going to make the playoffs?
Good
Because
luck.
mind you, look in the division. Washington is playing. Jaden
they're playing
Daniels came
very
in and is
well.
balling. And he's playing on a rookie salary. Mind you, also, Jalen Hurts and Philly are seeming starting to figure it out. So I just want to understand, that's two teams. I don't even know how you're going to make the playoffs. So let me make this clear. I see him. I see Daniel Jones, who made the playoffs that 1 year. I'd have franchise tagged his ass. I'd have been like, yo, you got to show me again.
They had no problem franchise tagging the running back Saquon Barkley and putting him in a position where he
look
left.
what he did to them yesterday. And his team is on top of them while they're at the bottom. How does that work
And it was
out?
such a good moment. I just want to interject talking about Saquon Barkley and how well he's doing for his team. They caught a nice little moment on social media where he had a chance to break his rushing record for in the game. I guess it was 200 yards, like his career high. So the clip on social media is the coach going to Saquon Barkley saying, yo, I'm going to pull all the starters out, but tell me if you want to get back in there because I want to see you win.
Yeah.
And Saquon Barkley, being the class act that he was, told his coach, nah, you got the younger cats in there. Them eat. Keep the young cats in there. Let the young cats eat.
Yeah.
Do you know how, like, that damn near brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
That was the utmost class act honor, pure honor that any player could have to be selfless and say, yo, I don't care about my career high.
Right.
That young person in there has a chance to shine. I want y'all to look at him. But go ahead.
So my whole thing is as I was saying, I don't know how he's going to get to the Super Bowl. So you're paying these guys money like they're going to get you to a Super Bowl, and it's not going to work. You're not like, how is it? You're talking about the market dictates it. Why? Because Patrick Mahomes got that money? Really? He's about to try to three-peat. You ain't even got to close to. You ain't even sniffed in the Super Bowl. You haven't even been to the NFC Championship
You're
game.
lucky to get to a wild
Now
card.
let me tell you where I'm going with this. So the market dictates this. Now Josh Allen is a different situation. I get it, because without him, y'all not even getting into the playoffs. He's that type of talent. Trevor Lawrence demanding money. How's that working out? It's not working out well, is it?
Nope.
Right? They gave more of that money and it ain't working out too well, right? Denver gave Russell Wilson that money, and then but that was Nathaniel Hackett's fault, and then Sean Payton what they wanted to do. But let me make this clear: Trevor Lawrence didn't work out. They gave him his money. He's playing like crap. Dak Prescott, that's not working out well.
Dakota.
Daniel Jones is playing like crap after he got his money. Now let me tell you what's coming down the pipeline. Brock Purdy. And they're going to pay this kid. And let me tell you something. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Did you see how he played yesterday? So now you're going to have, because you got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. And they say, well, hey, you need weapons as a quarterback. I know. But I'm telling you, my eye test tells me he's not that guy. He's not that guy.
He's not that guy,
So no, he's not that guy. So you're going to pay this guy all this money and it's going to go worse. It's going to go bad. We need to keep Purdy. You got to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I don't think it was really Purdy. I think it was just what you surrounded with him. And he played great enough that he gets you in the Super Bowl. But he keeps losing. Now it's going to come. Because remember, he's on that rookie deal because he was, the 6th round pick? Mm-hmm. But he's going to want his money because the market dictates that. If I'm an owner, I'm like, screw that market. You can go somewhere else. And when that clown sees, and then number one.
Can I interject?
Yeah, I'm going to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Number one, so when Dak Prescott said the market dictates this, where else you going to get a quarterback? My response was, where else you going to go?
Yeah, I don't.
Where
take
else you gonna go?
I don't take a whole lot of stock in Cowboys.
Ain't nobody else going to replace you. Because let's look at the teams. Matthew Stafford ain't going nowhere. And I'll take him any day with Dak Prescott. Jalen Hurts. Who's a bad team right now? Where Jacksonville, you want to go over there? I'll take Trevor Lawrence.
We'll make the trade. Over Rain Dakota.
We'll make the trade.
You'll take Trevor Lawrence over.
What I'm saying is that when he's saying that the market dictates it, because look at the thing. Look at what's happening. The market dictates it because think about if you're okay with Pittsburgh right now. You see how they did it? They got Russell Wilson, but they also have Justin.
The future.
Yeah,
Justin
they have
Fields.
the future, right? So Justin Fields. So they kind of got a back and forth, right? But if you're a normal team, where you gonna go? If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm telling Dak Prescott, you can go. You can go. Before I gave him that money, I was like, where you gonna go?
That's what I wanted to interject. What is your solution?
My solution is either go get a guy that can play well. That say I would have went to Mike McCarthy and said, look, who's a guy that can play well that we can implement in here? Because he's not going to get us to the Super Bowl. We gave you money the first time, and it ain't working out. Now you circle back around, you haven't even got an NFC championship game, and you're asking for money like you Patrick Mahomes. He's chasing like number 4 right now, right? Mm-hmm. Or is it 5? They're looking for a 3-peat, but I remember he won 2, didn't already?
Yep.
So now he looking to go to what, number 5?
Yep.
You ain't even got 1. But you want to dictate the market? No, the market dictates that for Patrick Mahomes and players like that.
You ain't
that guy. You ain't yet. So if you want to go, I'll let you go to Miami and I'll take Tua and maybe develop Trey Lance till he's ready. I don't really know. But I know right now, you better not be coming to me telling me you want this type of money. I don't know how Daniel Jones is. That's why they're like, he's quiet. Because he can't say nothing.
He damn sure can't open his mouth.
He can't say nothing.
That's the last of the quarterbacks you ever want to hear anything from.
If I'm his agent and I was the Mara family, because I heard today it was like, if I'm John Mara, I would be going there and told the general manager. No, I wouldn't. You know who I'd be talking to? Daniel Jones' agent. I promise you I'm going to take it out on your next player when you come wanting a deal. I don't care how nice he is. Because you got me dealing with this buffoonery. Then I'll get to the general manager. So you guys are at the bottom. Daniel Jones asked for all that money for one playoff victory over a Minnesota Vikings team that had the worst defense in the league. You knew they were going to win. But when it came down to it, you have to use common sense. I keep telling you, we could be general managers. Listen to the stupidities you're dealing with. So you got Daniel Jones. In that conference, even though I'm not happy, Dak Prescott, hell, even Jan Daniels in his rookie year is doing better than you've done in your past 3. Really? I wish you would come back and say you want a deal. Please. I would have franchise tagged his mind. You got to show me. All the other positions do. Don't when the running backs come up for their money, you need to show me again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sometimes a quarterback gets you in the playoffs. Oh, we got the future.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Lamar Jackson's that type of guy. He'll do it for you.
Notice how you named a select few.
Joe Burrow got his money. How that working out?
It's working out quite well in the AFC North. Shout out to my Steelers.
Sean Watson got his money. How that working out?
Well, good luck with him.
Justin Herbert got his money. That didn't work out last year neither. I'm still waiting to hear how it's working out.
It ain't.
Didn't Aaron Rodgers get his money?
How that ass whooping work out?
Wait. That's another thing. And then it's you dictate the market, and then we need to do as you say. I need this to succeed. Let me talk about that. Robert Saleh. So now we're going to go past that. So now we've established that you should not be letting the quarterbacks run the team. This idiotic thing that the quarterback is, you're successful as your quarterback is bull jive. It's complete bull jive. Kansas City's that great. Yes, Patrick Mahomes that special. Lamar Jackson's that special. But the other guys, no. Brock Purdy is not the leader of the 49ers. That he has a team around him.
But I see how fast you jumped on Aaron Rodgers and jumped off. I wanted to stick there.
I just want to establish the ending.
Oh yeah,
to that.
Oh definitely.
So now back to Aaron Rodgers.
How did that work out yesterday, buddy?
No, it ain't about yesterday. We ain't talking about it, but we're gonna get to that.
So yeah, we are.
Yesterday, he got beat, and then he said in the press conference, "We need to stop listening to you guys." No, they need to stop listening to you because you came to New York and said, "I want Nathaniel Hackett as my offensive coordinator." This is the guy that put down Russell Wilson. They went 3-13. Then when Sean Payton came in there, as much as they want to play Russell Wilson played great. They went 7-9. They won 4 more games and was in playoff hunt. And had Sean Payton not want to try to get out of, because what they really were trying to get out of is paying him that money.
Yeah.
So what Sean Payton did was a snub job. But we all know Russell Wilson played great. So then you said I want Nathaniel Hackett. Randall Cobb came there. Alan Lazard came there. Now, what's the guy's name? What was from the Raiders? Devontae Adams is now there. And that's going to take time because Devontae Adams is a star receiver. He's top 5. So Saleh comes in this year, and first of all, he didn't even show up to us. It was training camp, but it's either off season or whatever. He didn't show up. He was somewhere in another country doing his yoga crap. So that's showing your ass, and you're supposed to be the leader of the team. Then you get there, and there's clearly a disconnect between you and Saleh. You remember the one game, Aaron Rodgers scored, and Saleh tried to give him a hug, like celebrating, and he pushed Saleh. They said, "Yo, you making too big of a deal of it." 2 weeks later, Saleh's out the door. And now everybody's saying, well, it's Saleh's fault. No, it's not. Y'all had Nathaniel Hackett, and there was reports that Saleh didn't want to run the offense through Nathaniel Hackett. But he had to. So then Woody Johnson comes back because I guess he wasn't high on the job with Saleh. But once he came back, he wasn't happy with what was going on. He saw what was going on and said, "Yo, I want to be all in to win. I seen it." So what you do is you get rid of Saleh. You bring in Jeff Ulrich, the defensive coordinator. I don't know what that's going to do. So then they make the change. They lost to Buffalo, and now they lost to Pittsburgh. And that was Russell Wilson's first game. And after the rust came off, he lit their ass up. And
yeah, I see my smile right now.
After the press conference, the game,
keep talking.
In the press conference, the first thing out your mouth is, "We need to stop listening to the media." Did the media tell you to bring those players there? Did the media tell you to bring the offensive coordinator there? Did the media tell you to bring all those players? So understand. They're on a time clock, not only because Aaron Rodgers is getting older, but you got to remember, Breece Hall's there, Garrett Wilson's there. There's another kid there, the defensive lineman. What's the corner? The top corner, Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
DJ Reed. These guys are all young. They got drafted. But what's going to happen in 3 or 4 years when that rookie deal's over? Their contracts are coming. And that's 3 or 4 years. Rodgers maybe has 1 year left.
Because his age
and they're
and
2
his
and
health.
5. They're 2 and 5. You gave the quarterback all this power because you wanted to be all in to win, and it has not worked out.
So I got a few questions because we're talking about time before we transition to the last part of this podcast. So you just gave a great overview of the whole quarterback situation. And you said from your perspective, if you were a GM, you would tell half of these quarterbacks.
Kick rocks.
Okay.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence wanted money. They gave it to him. He's playing like crap.
All right. So,
Matter of fact, let me pull up my phone.
so you pull that up.
Yeah.
So before this is like the last part of the podcast, since we already on Aaron Rodgers, I want to finish off with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Salute the Steeler Nation.
Oh,
if
God.
those of you don't know, I'm a diehard Pittsburgh Steeler fan. So salute the Steeler Nation out there. Yesterday, Russell Wilson, his first start of the season. Justin Fields got them to 4-2, and Russ took over. My only thing that I wish was that I did not delete FanDuel from my phone 3 months ago. I stopped sports gambling 3 months ago.
Okay.
And I'm like very disciplined with that. I was like, yo, no, I'm not putting it back on my phone. Yada, yada, yada.
Right.
I knew he was going to do that.
Yeah.
I said in my head, 2 touchdowns, over 200 yards. Now we saw Russell Wilson knock the rust off and where they're positioned in the AFC North. My question to you, because you really in our football, what does this mean for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
It means that they're going to be at the top. I think it means that they have a good chance to compete with Lamar Jackson. Remember, their defense is A1. It's not. It's never been. It's just their offense, and they just need a quarterback that could play.
Is Russell Wilson, after that one game, because me and you talked about this off the phone, is that QB1 moving forward if you're the coach?
Yes. Do you see how? And they were trying to be funny. Oh, the receivers saved some of Russell Wilson's throws. No, they were getting downfield. And they were opening up gaps in the run. With Justin Fields, he will get there, but it's a learning curve. This is Justin Fields' first year.
Yeah.
So it's, this is his real first year. So the way he's playing is not bad. It's just his first year type play. The Steelers are ready to go now. They can't wait for you 2 or 3 years. You just don't know what's going to happen. So now fast forward, now you got Russell Wilson. He's ready
And
to go.
he looked like
by
that,
the way,
knocking the rust off.
With that win, you do know they're in first place right now, right?
I've been knew that.
Okay.
This is why I wanted to get on that.
So let that sit here. The Jets listen to Aaron Rodgers and let him run the show. They're at the bottom at 2 and 5.
Not the Steelers.
Dak Prescott, they gave him the money, played the game they wanted to play with him and CeeDee Lamb because they're so damn important.
Shout
And
out to
they're
Rain
at the
Dakota.
bottom. They're at the bottom,
Keep going.
right? Who else? There's one more guy I'm missing here that wanted money. Then there's Brock Purdy that's coming around. And now they're at the bottom. So
Where the Steelers at again?
they're at the top of the conference.
By
By the way, Joe Burrow got his money.
Where's
And
he
they're-
at?
They're in Cincinnati.
Horrid.
And they're at the bottom. So everybody that got their money, and now you're at the bottom.
What did the media say about Russell Wilson? I'm loving this right
What,
now.
that he's washed up?
That he's washed up.
Yep.
And we're in the top of the conference, and he's looking like he's about to lead us to a
Yep.
Super Bowl.
Yep.
Got a lot more to say on this topic. We're not going to keep you all night because we'll be here rambling on and on. But I'll end with this. To everybody who thought Russell Wilson was washed because of what Sean Payton did, good luck because we coming.
And Sean Payton's in third place in this conference.
Yeah.
By the way, Russell Wilson's at first because of the play last night. Just want to put that out there.
That's what I said. Salute the Steeler Nation.
But maybe Bo Nix will get him in the Super Bowl one day. Because, you know, Patrick Mahomes ain't got the next 10 years to play. Keep talking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Salute the Steeler Nation, all my Steelers fans out there. Shout out to the media that said Russell Wilson was washed, but then wanted to see Joe Flacco play at his age of 39 and being washed up. But that's a whole nother topic.
Yep.
Like you said, all them quarterbacks that wanted their money, they got it.
Yep.
But we got the wash. But my Steelers got the washed up quarterback, and we're looking like we're about to make a title run.
Yep.
I got a lot more for the next podcast. Do you want to interject?
I just want to say Minnesota's doing great with Sam Darnold. Jets ran him out of there because he couldn't play. Some reason he seems to they just now got their first loss. I'm gonna say that again. He's playing with a great defense, great receiver, and a running game that Minnesota gave him, and he seems to be doing just fine. They just got their first loss yesterday. The Jets already got their 5th loss yesterday.
Shout out to Rain Dakota. Got your money from the Cowboys, baby.
Yep. It's going to work out for you very well.
So this ends the Enveonline podcast. Obviously, we got a lot more, but we've been here all night.
Yep.
We just getting warmed up back into things. Like we said, life was lifing.
Yeah.
It was hitting us from the left, the right, all over. But we're back. We're going to be a little more consistent. We got a lot more hip-hop, a lot more politic conversation, a lot more sports conversation moving forward. Got anything else you want to throw in there?
Just, look for a lot of stuff we're about to do. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to be about it. Stay tuned.
And as I always say, whether it's one person watching us or 100 people watching us, appreciate all support. Salute from Enveonline.
Stay tuned.